So today I will learn something very important, the bounding of Isaac. The story of Abraham and Isaac. And it is a very well-known story, but very often misunderstood, completely screwed up. A billion people are aware of it, both Islam and Christianity, each one distorting it completely to its own reasons. But let's see what the Torah is telling us about the true story of binding of Isaac and moral message. Now, to understand the binding of Isaac, let's repeat what we learned so far. And excuse me if I'll repeat today what we learned already, because I want to make us aware of the issue and how Abraham addresses all that. So what have we learned so far about Abraham? As you remember, Abraham grew up in a society which was plagued with severe idolatry, in addition to violation of all the Noah's 7 commandments. In particular, we said, the society was engaged in the first time ever in history in organized theft, like empires invading other nations, grabbing territories, slaves to get wealthy in an easy way, ignoring completely human rights. No human right exists on earth. And Abraham is born to that kind of society, which is about, he was born about, let's say, 1200 BC. And the societies that the scholar described in organized theft started about a few hundred years later, earlier by Gilgamesh, famous Gilgamesh, and the empire that he started. What was special about Abraham, that having been born in such a community, he had to find God on its own. He had no choice. And he did it first, as we said, by simply looking at nature. Important to remember the steps that he took. And he saw nature so beautiful, and he said to himself, well, it cannot be that such a beautiful nature, with colors, and you know, everything so pretty and artistically very appealing. It cannot be that it was made at random. A creator must have had it, have created it. Not only that, but the creator what typified this creator is that he's an artist, that he's a sculptor, that he is a painter. And Abraham was very attracted to that kind of thinking because he himself was an artist, son of an artist. And then he said, wow, if it came to his mind, if so, then this architect or artist, the creator, he also owns his art, and he is the owner. And that was a completely new idea. And these two ideas actually separating apart from everybody else, because you know, many people in history, like Einstein and other scientists, it's very common, the people who engage in physical theories, even today, when they study nature and the natural laws and mathematics and physics, they always come to the conclusion that so much wisdom here There must be intelligence, the intelligent creator, that it cannot come on its own. Some intelligent did all that. It's not at random. That's very common perception by the scientists, but it's like relatively rare to come to that conclusion from the point of view of art, to look at art, at the beauty of nature and say, wow, the nature is so beautiful that it must have an artist that did it. And that Abraham came from that point, that point of view. And now he also, another thing that's special about him, that he said, the recognition that he is an owner. And that by itself look very weird at this time, even today. No other religion, not Muslim, not Islam, not Christianity, even today, even speak about God as an owner. It's not even, they're not even aware of it. Whereas in Judaism, in the Torah, it's a basic principle. The whole Talmud is based on that. So he is an owner. He's not a redeemer. He's not just a judge in the end of time, Armageddon. He is the owner of the world. And that made Abraham separate from any other people before and after. And having said that, if he came to the conclusion, which was very, very relevant to his time, having growing in such a society plagued with theft and empire and slavery, that he felt in his sensitive heart, he felt that something is wrong here. Here he came to the conclusion that said, if everything belonged to God, then stealing and abduction and organized theft is not only a crime against the social order, it's a religious dictum, it's a crime against God ownership. And that's what the third thing that set him apart from any other person, any other lawmaker before or after him. There are many books written about that point of view, like Rabbi Sachs, the chief rabbi of Britain that just passed away a year ago, and before him, Rabbi Schachter in New York, conservative theology school, wrote books about this. That until Abraham, yes, society knew that theft is forbidden, or injustice is forbidden. But that was a thing between man and man, not between man and God. What does God has to do if I stole your car or your land or your clothes? I could challenge you and go to the king, and the king will settle the issue according to the law of the land. But this has nothing to do with a God in a temple who is only concerned about his own power and sacrifice and so on. So deities were completely removed from that issue of theft and injustice, which is number 3 and 4, number 4 and 5 of Noahide. For the ancient world, and even for most people today, they don't relate religion to those issues. I remember a Christian guy came to a Jewish boy and said, "What did you learn in yeshiva today?" And he said, "I learned about buying the ox and changing it with a cow." And he said, "What? That's what you learn in religious school? What about end of time and Satan and Armageddon?" And then the Jewish side scratched his head. He said, "What are you talking about? I'm talking about the Talmud." And the Talmud engage in day-to-day life. And so the elevation of this social issue of theft and injustice, which is perceived usually as a man-to-man, to religious dictum, that it violates God's ownership and God's sense of justice. That's a completely new thing, actually introduced by Abraham in a big way. And Abraham, that's what made Abraham fight against the four kings and releasing captives, and he didn't want to share anything with King of Sodom and so on. So at that point, when Abraham was 58, maybe earlier, even while he was still in Haran, before he came to the land of Israel, he met, tradition said that he met Noah. Otherwise, he wouldn't know about the seventh commandment. He must have met Noah or Shem, either one of them, Shem, the son of Noah. But Shem lived in the land of Canaan. He lived in Syria, and he must have met Noah, and tradition indeed said it was 58. And that meeting changed his life and actually consolidated his faith forever. For it changed his life. Because Noah actually now saw that the guy is serious. And he taught him about, taught him everything he knew. Noah. Before he would pass away. He was about to pass away. And he taught him about creation, Genesis, Hashem Elohim, the first time Abraham heard the name. And the Sabbath, the whole story of the Sabbath, and the 6-day creation. And he told him about the idolatry. He told him about Adam and Eve in Eden getting the 6th commandment. He told him all the 6 of them. And he told Abraham, I can imagine, he told him also about sin in Eden, the concept of marriage and adultery that introduced in Eden, as we learn. Before that, Abraham didn't know it as a law. For him, it was a new thing. And he told him about the story of Cain and Abel, the murder, and then, of course, a flood, and the rainbow covenant, which is based completely on the bloodshed law, as we learn. And Noah probably told him also about the 7th command, number 7, that he got to that point in the rainbow covenant. And he must have told him, my 7th commandment actually came, which means do not eat blood or a limb torn from a living animal. Do not consume it. So it means do not be cruel. And control your heart and stay away from bloodshed. That's the number 7 means. And so number 7 supports number 3. So we have the basic 6, and Noah told him, I got my 7 as a support to my life struggle against bloodshed. And here we come to a very important rule that I cannot overemphasize. Any law that God gave to mankind after the 6th commandment, after the 6th of Eden, they don't stand on their own. All of them, including the entire book of Exodus and all the laws that Israel got from the beginning of the end, all of them are introduced only to support the basic 6. You can take each one of them, of the law, 613 laws of Israel, and you can trace them to Adam 6. For instance, take Noah's number 7, and you see that not eating blood or not drinking blood and a living torn from a living animal doesn't mean anything unless you know that there is a bloodshed law. And Noah was concerned about the cruelty of our heart, and he didn't want to reproduce anymore. God says, I will help you. I'll give you number 7. It will help your children to overcome their bloodthirsty desires and character, and it will help them to overcome cruelty, which is a natural thing, to be cruel and to kill. And number 7 came to support it. So this will be true from now on. Abraham, we'll see, got number 8, circumcision, to support his fight against theft, which is 4. And Jacob would get number 9 to support the struggle against civil order, which is 5. So all the commandment after, all the commandment given to mankind after on earth, all the commandments that came to mankind on earth came to support the original 6 in Eden. That's a statement that we should carry in our mind. They don't stand on their own legs. They're all on each one of them. You ask yourself, why do I need it? What is commandment telling me? And you will see. It will help me either to fight idolatry, or adultery, or bloodshed, or theft, or and civil right and blasphemy. Nothing else. All of them can be traced to those 6. Of course, each one of them is a headline. Each one of the 6 is a big headline. So all the other came to support those headlines. So Abraham now, after hearing Noah, he was able to combine the old tradition with the new ideas, and he came to them, call God not only the owner of heaven and earth, or the one who purchased. He says in the Bible, in the Torah, he speaks to Melchizedek, blesses Hashem who purchased. In Hebrew, it says he purchased. He owns heaven and earth, but he also was able to point that this is Hashem, Yud-Heh-Vav-Keh, who owned. In fact, Abraham at that point, if you read the text carefully, you see that Abraham was not aware, he could not tell which attribute is more important. Was it attribute of justice, Elohim, or Yud-Heh-Vav-Keh? Imagine him sitting across Noah and asking Noah, my grandfather Noah, tell me, you just told me about the creator, his attribute. Which attribute is that both of them sit in heavenly court? Who is more important? So Noah would probably answer him, my son, I don't know. How come? Abraham said, you don't know who is powerful? He said, I never encountered such a situation. In the flood, as you see in the heavenly court before the flood, both attributes agree. There is a description of this in the text, how the heavenly court sit and judge mankind, if to bring the flood or not. But you see the 2 wings are completely equal. The name of Elohim and the name of Hashem appear in each wing, exactly the same number. Each one speaks from its own agenda, but they both agree that mankind should be annihilated, and both agree that Noah should be saved. So who is greater? You cannot tell. Both agree. after the flood, when Noah prayed to God that promise me that mankind heart will change and you will not bring the flood, unless otherwise I will not procreate. Again, he has a revelation, heavenly court passed by him. But again, both attributed to me. Both of them say, okay, let's sign up the Rainbow Covenant, and your children will live by the Rainbow Covenant. But there is no clash there. Who is greater? I cannot tell you. So Noah will leave the question unanswered from his own experience. He would say, yeah, of course, if a person is, I can imagine he would say, if the heavenly court judge a person or society, and he find that one has committed more crime, violated more laws, then he merited mercy, of course he will get, I imagine, who is stronger? Elohim will be stronger, but it's not because Elohim is stronger, but the man is more wicked. Or like in Sodom and Gomorrah, they enrage Hashem so much, so they deserve to be overturned. Well, that's not because Hashem was superior to Elohim, but just because they enraged her. But when they clash, the only way to find out, Noah would say, if you see there ever clash, head against head, and each one of them claim very important argument on its own sake, and they present opposite view on the same issue, then you know who is greater. And until now, Noah said, I have no idea. It never happened. It never happened. I never saw any case in history until now that there was a head-to-head clash between mercy and judgment. There was always a reason why the heavenly court will decide this way or other way, but not because one attribute override the other. There was no case of direct confrontation between the two attributes. So far, I don't know. So Abraham had no choice but to see if he would learn. We'll see in a minute that Abraham is going to learn that. So here we come now to God accepted Noah combined. He said Noah combined Noah tradition with his own ideas. He called Hashem as a superior, as a owner. But after Sodom and Gomorrah, and after you see the evil around him, Abraham came to the but before that, Abraham came to the idea that it's not enough to mankind to believe that Hashem owns everything. It won't stop people from doing evil. You see, I can believe that King of England is a very important person, and I adore Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, but she will not change my own life. So I need, only if I accept God's kingship on me, ownership on me, if I understand that can change life. That's what Abraham, after looking, the Torah says after all these things happened, after those tribulations he saw and confronted, Abraham came to the idea, he said, no, Hashem is not only an owner of, I need to teach people that Hashem is not owner of the heaven and earth. but is my personal owner. You see, scientists can even believe in God as a creator. This is the wisdom of God in nature. Will it stop the scientists from sleeping with the next door neighbor? No. Even if you believe that that creator somehow judge mankind in general, would it stop that scientists from doing the same thing? No. Unless a person accepts it on his own, then there is a chance that people take it seriously. So Abraham then announced or start to teach the idea, a new idea. Of all the new ideas is already introduced, now there's a new idea that God is my personal master, owner, Adonai. Adonai in Hebrew means my master, means my owner, my landlord. In English it says Lord, but it's not Lord of the royal house in London. It's my landlord here. He owns my house and he owns me. He's my owner. So the Lord is not such a good translation. My master, my owner would be more precise. And since he's me, and since also he owns you, and he's on her, and he's on him, everyone should understand that we are all subject, they are his property, and we need to listen to what he tells us, what he commands us. Command us not as a king, but as the owner. It's much closer to me, much more serious. The king sit there in a palace somewhere, but the master is in my house. He watches me every day, what I do. So the commandment is from my Lord, my master. And we need to take it more seriously than just general belief in God, the order of the heaven and the earth, which most people will forget in a minute. If you are aware that he is watching you day by day, because you need to do his work, and otherwise there are some consequences, you will be careful. So introduce a new name, Adonai. Now, introducing a new name in religion is not such a simple thing. It has to be approved by God, and God indeed accepted. Not only that, Hashem reveals himself as a heavenly court. Now, again, the heavenly court that we spoke about, Hashem and Elohim, both of them passed by Abraham, and each attribute says something about circumcision. So the first speaks YHVH, and she says, go, and I want your heart to be completely mine. Subject your heart to my love to you. Accept, love me and I will love you. That's what she speaks. Then Elohim, as she finished, Elohim passed. Exactly like it was Mount Moriah after the flood. Then all that is in chapter 15. And then Elohim passed and said, you know what? As a token for that new name that you just mentioned, you said that you are my slave. Well, circumcise yourself. It's an emblem of my ownership on you. That's the commandment. So here we have the commandment, we have the idea behind it, and we have the heavenly court supporting the new posture of Abraham as my owner. So now, in addition to the old concept of Adam in Eve from Eden of God as a creator, as a king, and the attributes. Now we have the owner of the universe and owner of me, my Lord. Oh, that is a progressive religion concept. How our religion evolved, and it's supported by the cautious step from the heavenly court. And he also gave name to rename Abraham as Abraham. He had H to as a signature for the new posture of Abraham as a slave of God. Remember, if I'm a slave of God, I'm not a slave to anything else, not to idols, and not to mankind, not to any man, not to any party, not to anyone. It's a great honor to be a slave to God. So it looks like at this point, well, what else can Adam can learn? Not to reach the apex of his religion. He introduced so many new things. And so it looked like he got a new son, Isaac, at the age of 100, was wealthy, respected. He had many followers, allies. What else can he learn? But then Satan, notice this was Psalm 14 here. What did Satan notice? By the way, Satan is not mix. We shouldn't mix the European Satan, the demon, with the fire and all that, with the Hebrew Satan. It's a totally different concept. I don't know how it's, like many other things, completely mixed. Satan in Hebrew is simply the prosecutor. So in a heavenly court, if the judge sits there on the throne, he's surrounded by clerks. And one clerk is scribe, one clerk tells the history, and when he judges somebody, there's a prosecutor, there's a defense. The prosecutor is a Satan. In Hebrew, to speak sitna, a word of Satan is simply to tell the truth in a negative way. To tell, it's to not to say lie, to say the truth, to bring the truth up before the heavenly court. This guy did this and this. That's the piece. That's a PA job. The prosecutor of the district, I call it, prosecutor of mankind, prosecutor of this particular man. That's Satan. So don't never mix Satan in the Bible in the Hebrew Bible, then with other Bible. And I know this in the past, I had so many people that got angry at me when I said that. How could it be? I remember people leaving the room when I said that, in anger. This guy, what he's talking about? It's like explosion. I couldn't believe it. But that's the fact. What I can say, Satan can be a baby-faced angel, white-winged, and his job is to say the negative thing. That's all. And he said the truth. And what did he say? He says, Midrash written much before Christianity. 300, I think at least 300 years before Constantine. So this Midrash, which was written, because the tradition came before that. So Satan stood up before the heavenly court and said to Elohim, you're always associated with the judge, with Elohim. And he says, my king, what about this guy, Abraham? You gave him so much. You did so many miracles for him. Did he do anything in return? Look at him. He walked around on the land preaching about the mercy here, merciful YHVH. He set up altars. He set up hospitals and kitchen, and treat the poor people free and for free. He's full of mercy and compassion. What about judging? What about doing something for you? We never see him preaching the law. And he doesn't do anything for you. Does he err? Maybe he is tilted towards worshiping mercy and leaving you behind. Look at him. And that caught Elohim attention because Satan always brings up some truth. So Elohim says, wow, you're right. Let's try. Now, the word try, nes, is amazing here. Because you can say, why Elohim need to try anything? Why Elohim doesn't know? But the word nes, as you know, probably you heard it from other classes before, nes means a banner. Let's make him a banner for all mankind. Abraham was Noahide. Abraham is going to undergo such a test now to teach something for mankind, from Noahide, not only for Jews. Let's make Abraham a banner for mankind. Let's see what kind of test is it. Let's go and trust him. So Elohim, you know the story now. Elohim appears to Abraham and asks him the worst thing that he can ask, the harshest thing he can ask. Bring your son, the son that you love so much, to our Moriah, and offer him to me as a burnt offering. Now you know the story, and you know the outcome, but I want to show you the slide. Let me try, if I can, how can I put on the slide? I'll try. Photo, slide, done. You cannot replay while other participant is sharing. You need to release. It doesn't take. I need to release me. To release the other watching.
Rabbi, go ahead and do it now. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Okay. Okay, I'll do it now. I was not aware that you are here, God.
Yes.
Thank you. I will allow upload. Oh, great. And I will also put as a background. Wow, here we are. Behind me is a text. It's a large text, so you may not read it, but the point I want to say, this is what the Torah described here. It's simply the text that I put some colors in it. And I divided into two colors simply to make you aware that it has two different attributes speaking. Many people are not aware of it. The first part in red is the only speaker is Elohim. Elohim speak to Abraham, take your son and bring him to the Mount Moriah. And Abraham came up and woke up, and he took his son and the two servants, and he went to the place that Elohim has showed him. So how many times the name of Elohim is repeated? 5 times. How many times the name of Abraham appears here in the red section? 9 times. Elohim 5, Abraham 9. No Yud Hey Vav Until they got to Mount Moriah, down here the line, And when Abraham tied Isaac asked him, where's the offering? Abraham said, oh, Elohim will show up. Then when Isaac probably understand what's going on, he allowed Abraham to take care of him, put him on there. God, what a scene. I cannot imagine that scene. And he put him on the altar, and he raised his knife to slaughter Isaac, the son that he gave birth at the age of 100, the only hope he had, just because Elohim told him. Especially for Abraham, it was hard, because we know that his heart was kind. He was full of compassion. Now he's about to kill his son because God told him, not God, Elohim, the attribute. At that point, Abraham is frozen. And because then here comes the blue part, the second half of the story, where Elohim name is almost, beside one point, it's almost Elohim disappear, and it's overtaken by YHVH. From here on, the angel of El Hashem came to him, Abraham, don't touch the boy. Who speaks that? The angel of YHVH, who is against Satan. Satan is the angel of Elohim. Here is the angel of Hashem shouting, Abraham, don't touch the boy. How many times in the blue part, remember the blue part is YHVH only, Yud Hey Vav Kei. How many times? 5 times. In exact symmetry, Elohim here is 5, here is 5. How many times Abraham name appear? 9 times. So Abraham appear here 9 times, Abraham appear here 9 times, which means Abraham is completely frozen. He hear one attribute saying that, the other attribute saying the opposite. Here's the clash. Remember what Noah told him. As long as they don't clash, I don't know who is greater. They never clash in the open. Here, they are directly clashed with the opposite opinion. Elohim says, slaughter him. Elohim didn't stop. The rule is Elohim never recant or never recede or never regress from his. Once Elohim says something, you never take it back. No such thing exists. So Elohim here never stopped. The law, the cry of Elohim, the command of Elohim was still ringing in his ear. Slaughter him. But there is now a new voice overriding it from YHVH. Has the exact opposite way, head to head. Don't touch the boy. Clash in the open, head to head, who is greater? Oh, here we have what we are looking for. Who is greater? Elohim, the creator. You watch the heaven and earth, and you see him everywhere. You learn science. You see his fingerprint in science. You're an artist. You see his fingerprint in the beauty of nature. You watch History Channel report on world history, creation. You see Elohim's story exactly there. He's everywhere. Should I listen to him? Or should I listen to some attribute that's not even existing here? It's only in my heart. I'm the only creature that can actually feel her. To whom should Abraham listen? Who is his master? Adonai. Okay, that's the question. Until now, I think it's in one of the, until now, it's in the text. I don't know where it is there, I can tell you, but when he asked Hashem, he said, what can you tell me? What can you give me? I go barren and I have no child. There he addressed both of them as Adonai because he couldn't tell which one is greater. But now he's facing, he cannot say both of you, I agree to both of you, because they both each one say the opposite. You need to know which one to follow. No such chapter exists in the entire Bible, not before and not after. You will never, never, never see the two attributes clashing in the open, in full force as they do here, with such a stark, precise, open clash. Slaughtering, don't touch it. To whom should Abraham listen? And here came the rabbis and said, oh, you don't understand. He said, listen to what prompted Abraham to choose one way or the other. Look at this line here. It's the third line after in Hashem's words. He said, when the angel of Hashem spoke to him, he says, Abraham, don't touch the boy, because now I know that you fear Elohim. What a statement. It is not between two different gods. It is not a clash between two opposing attributes, you know. She likes Abraham. She said, I like you because you listen to him. She clapped her hand because he was going to not to follow him, but not to follow her, but to follow him. They are one. In fact, there is a secret here, not a secret, it is opposite. That even Elohim is just manifestation of the mercy that actually override everything. We already talked about it. I like you because you listen to Elohim. That was enough for Abraham. In that case, you are my Adonai. I listen to you. You are my master. And from here on, the name of Adonai is attached to YHVH, never to Elohim. In the previous chapter there, he addressed both of them as Adonai. From now on and forever, including in our synagogue, Adonai we say only when we want to address YHVH. We never replace the name of Elohim. Never. The reader will say, you see the name of Elohim, you say Adonai. It's not right. The crowd will shout. What do they say? The text says YHVH. The reader will say Adonai. My master. Accept him, mercy, as my master, not because mercy push away judgment as abrogated law. Oh, mercy is here. From now on, we don't need to address the law. We don't. The law is passé. It's gone. The New Testament, New Covenant, because Elohim is out. Mercy is here. Mercy is all around. No, we we accept her because she overrides Elohim, not because she pushed him away. Which means now, what is the next? Here, down here, one of the line here, it says that Abraham didn't know what to do. He was attempted to follow her because he understood what she was saying. But how can he now comply with both? She likes him if he listens to Hashem, to Elohim. So how can he abide by both? Oh, you see the ram. By slaughtering the ram, he ameliorated Elohim law, still fulfilled slaughtering something. At the same time, he complied with her. A ram solution is Judaism. Eye for an eye is finger of Elohim wrote it. Hashem would say, what do you mean? Eye for an eye? Don't touch your hand to the boy. The solution is a ram. Compensation. Oh, by paying compensation, I didn't fulfill Elohim law, but I did comply with her law, her desire. The ram solution is Judaism, and it's not Judaism. It's not for the Jews. Abraham is a banner. I make you a banner for all mankind. Abraham is a Noahide. Who said it is a Jew? The Rambam is describing him as a Noahide. The Noahide who had to keep 8 commandments. Still Noahide. At that point, potentially, all Noahide could have still be under that law of circumcision we talk about. Potentially, it was still relevant to all Noahide. And that too is very relevant to all Noahide. Abraham is a banner for all mankind by abiding by loving mercy or going following her, at the same time, sticking to the king law with all his heart. Theft, idolatry, just the law, in particular, in minuta. And if Elohim law is too harsh, oh, we know that's a Talmud. The whole Talmud is that ram solution is the Talmud. What did this is foolish, maybe our class? What did the high priest say when he entered the Holy of Holies on Yom Kippur? Did he say, save us from our enemies? Save us from Rome? Did he say, give us money? Did he say, give me the heaven to come? Heaven to come. Give me the next day, the Sabbath. He didn't say that. One famous prayer. Rabbi Shmuel, the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, he said, when I entered the Holy of Holies, I said, God, my Lord, let your mercy overcome your anger. Like Abraham. He stood there, his own mercy overcame this ruthlessly. He wanted to kill his son ruthlessly. The same way that Abraham, he said, the same way that Abraham overcame his Elohim to follow your desire, your mercy, let your mercy overcome your anger. This is our Lord. So this story here is the base of the prayer of high praise and holy holiness. And I don't know stories about it. I don't want to overload you. So here is the story of Akedah and the solution, which means, of course, it banned all human sacrifice. That's first understood. No human sacrifice is possible in Judaism. Certainly not to drink blood, not in Passover, not in any other place. And the ram solution, loving mercy, but at the same time sticking to the law, to the letter. Any question for me?